morning. It's a wonderful beginning of a wonderful year. Live from AYOGEN online television, bringing you breakfast news to you this morning is Bakonjola Oluwatosin Esther. Here are the major headlines. On our local news this morning, Gombe APC suspends ex-representatives member Romelu Lukaku. Private public schools to resume schools. January 4, Lagos insists. On our political news this morning, Electoral Act, Nigeria unprepared for direct primary in 2023. IPAC backs Buhari. Regarding the 2023 upcoming election, why Nigerians should support Osinbajo to succeed Buhari as president, says Kawu. On our business news this morning, Nigeria's inflation rate may be among world's highest in 2022, says the World Bank. On our sport news this morning, Lukaku linked in shock move to Chelsea rival. Health news this morning, Nigeria records 6 additional COVID-19 related deaths, 573 cases. On our foreign news this morning, Serbia praises another arms shipment from Russia. Lastly, on our entertainment news this morning, Tenny police probe gunshot scare at Rivers events. So full details coming up next. Gombe APC suspends ex-representatives member Romelu Lukaku. The executive committee of the All Progressive Congress of Lembi Award in Ako local government area of Gombe State has suspended a former member of the House of Representatives, Romelu Lukaku. Making the pronouncement on Monday, the chairman of the party in the ward, Gwani Audu, at the state APC secretariat, alleged that the former lawmaker had shown traces of anti-party tendencies, stressing that such would not be tolerated by the party leadership. Audu said the Ward Executive Committee would not allow anyone to sabotage the party, especially as the 2023 general election draw closer. Hence, their own anonymous decision to suspend the party stalwart. The chairman also noted that the suspension would be in force until further notice, noting that the ward reserves unflinching support for the state governor, Muhammadu Yahaya. According to Audu, the government is the leader of the party in the state, while urging all members from wards to state levels to remain loyal to him in order not to give the opposition opportunity to infiltrate the party. He said, "We don't want anti-party activities because we pledged unalloyed loyalty to the party. We also don't like anything that will break the party. That is why we have suspended him until he reaches out onto us and make amends. APC is strong in Lembi ward. We don't want division in the party. Therefore, we will not condone any act, all these anti-party activities. We are totally in support of the governor." Private public schools to resume January 4, Lagos insists. The Lagos State Ministry of Education has insisted that public and private schools in the state will resume on Tuesday, January 4, 2021, to begin the second term of the 2021/2022 academic section. This is as the chairman of Education in the state, Folashade Adefisayo, urged school administrators in all public and private schools in the state to step up safety measures towards reducing insecurity and untoward indecencies. In a statement titled, Lagos State Government urges administrator to step up safety in schools, the commissioner directed school administrators to ensure that exposure of students to danger within the school premises are neutralized, while ensuring that all potential danger outside the wall of the schools is escalated to appropriate safety and enforcement agencies through stipulated channels. Adefisayo was quoted as saying, "It is necessary to devise appropriate strategies to advance teachers/student interaction to gain insight and expose negative tendencies before they metamorphose into unfortunate situations. Adequate boarding school students should be instituted to prevent the incidence of bullying and all forms of vices on school premises." The commissioner reiterated the warning of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu that bullying, cultism, and other vices will not be tolerated in Lagos schools, just as she enjoined school administrators to increase counseling of students, such as against such vices. Earlier reported that a 12-year-old boarding student of Dowen College in Lekki, Sylvester Oromoni, was allegedly bullied to death by 5 of his colleagues. The case, which is now in court, attracted national outrage, with many observers calling on the state government to revive, adequately fund, and strengthen its education ministry's inspectorate divisions. for effective monitoring of schools and school children, and jolt school proprietor and parents from the reverie. On our political news this morning regarding the Electoral Act, Nigeria unprepared for direct primary in 2023. IPAC backs Buhari. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has urged the National Assembly to remove clauses on direct primary election in the 2021 Electoral Amendments Bill. The inclusion is a major reason delaying assent to the bill by President Muhammadu Buhari. On Monday, IPAC said while many may not concede to the explanation of security challenges it posited, logistics and financial burden to be incurred will be huge in 2023. The chairman, Yabagi Sani, at a news conference in Abuja, warned that primary elections will overstretch the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Sani reacted to arguments that no amount of money can be too high in the effort to sanitize the electoral process and calls on the legislature to overrule the president. The politician said to the organization, which has registered 18 political parties, such an action may be tantamount to a wholesale wrecking of the vote. The country at this stage of its democracy does not appear to be sufficiently ripe and prepared for the direct primary election model in the selection of party flag bearers. The use of veto by the legislation will merely result in the day of fruitless exercise if at the end of the day its implementation is not supported by the required funding by the executive, he noted. IPAC agrees with the opinion that National Assembly's stand on indirect primary was an attempt to usurp the constitutional right of parties on how to select candidates. The body told the legislation to be more concerned about ensuring the integrity of electoral processes, reducing the cost of democratic practices, and making democracy more resilient. Regarding the 2023 upcoming election, why Nigerians should support Osinbajo to succeed Buhari as president, says Kawu. A House of Representative member from Kano, Afiz Kawu, has said that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is the best candidate person to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. Kawu, who served as spokesman to the Vice President on broadcast media federal constituency seat in 2019, stated this at a press conference Monday in Kano. He said, right now I can attest to you that Tinubu is here to say whether he will contest or not. But in the case of Vice President, already Nigerian statesmen, including former military President Ibrahim Babangida, have seen a quality of him and have endorsed him for the job. The legislature hinted that the Vice President had shown clear capabilities and courage in handling Nigeria as seen in his acting capacity in the absence of his boss, President Muhammadu Buhari. Although he has not declared intention to contest, we are all asking him to come out, and certainly we know he will accept the call and go for the presidency call. We are sure that with Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Nigeria will be great again, has been championed by his government, and no one can believe with me that today Nigerians cannot afford dumping APC for any other party. On our business news this morning, Nigeria's inflation rate may be among world's highest in 2022, says World Bank. The World Bank has said Nigeria may have one of the highest inflation rates globally in 2022, with increasing prices diminishing the welfare of Nigerian households. According to the World Bank, Nigeria is projected to have one of the highest inflation globally and the 7th highest among sub-Saharan African countries in 2022. In 2022, Nigeria is expected to have one of the highest inflation rates in the world and the 7th highest in sub-Saharan Africa, he said. The bank said this in the November edition of its Nigerian Development Update. According to the Global Financial Institution, high inflation hampers the country's attempt to achieve economic recovery and erodes the purchasing power of the most vulnerable households. The document read in part, high inflation is frustrating Nigerians' economic recovery and eroding the purchasing power of the most vulnerable households. In the absence of measures to contain inflation, rising prices will continue to diminish the welfare of Nigerian households. The bank further highlighted the adverse effect of inflation on Nigeria, which include pushing 8 million Nigerians into poverty and the possible disruption of consumption, investment, and saving decisions, among other consequences. If inflation had been closer to the CBN's goal of 9% in 2021, the average Nigerian's consumption would have been 15% higher and 8 million Nigerians would have not fallen into poverty. If double-digit inflation persists during 2022 to 2023, rising prices will distort consumption, investment, and saving decisions of the government, households, and firms, with adverse ramifications for long-term borrowing and lending. Over time, the disproportionate impact of inflation on lower-income households and those working in sectors with low savings, for example, agriculture, with exacerbate inequality. Ultimately, inflation will not only negatively affect incomes, but also economic productivity and job creation, further constraining the recovery, the bank said. The Washington, United States-based institution also closed that over 2 years, an increase in food prices accounted for about 70% of the annual increase in the rate of inflation. On our sport news this morning, Lukaku linked in shock move to Chelsea rival. Chelsea striker Romelu Lukaku has been linked in a shock move to rivals Tottenham to reunite with former Inter Milan boss Antonio Conte. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, the Belgian is in the midst of a controversy after stating that he wanted to return to Italy and did not like Thomas Tuchel's style in an interview with Italian media. The 28-year-old was left out of Chelsea's matchday squad before their 2-2 draw with Liverpool on Sunday. The club said it will look into Lukaku's frustration at Stamford Bridge and deal with any issue he has internally. Gazzetta dello Sport reports that Lukaku could force a move to Tottenham to join former manager Conte, with who he won the Scudetto at the end of the 2020-2021 season. Lukaku rejoined the Blues for €97.5 million in the summer and has scored 7 goals in 18 appearances this season. On IOT News this morning, Nigeria records 6 additional COVID-19 related deaths, 573 new cases. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control on Sunday reported 573 new COVID-19 cases across 7 states. The health agency also reported 6 additional COVID-19 related deaths. The NCDC disclosed this on its website on Monday. According to the agency's data, Lagos recorded the highest figure for new infection with 281 cases. Benue reported 202 cases, followed by Kano 61, Borno 20, Jigawa 5, Edo 2, and Oyo 2. The reported 573 new infections have brought the total number of confirmed cases to 243,450, while 215,352 people have recovered and have been discharged. However, with 6 additional facilities reported, the death toll from the virus now stands at 3,039. The agency added that a multi-sectoral National Emergency Operations Center activated at Level 2 had continued to coordinate the national response activities. On our health foreign news this morning, Serbia praises another arms shipment from Russia. Serbia's president has praised another shipment of arms from Russia despite fears in the Balkans that the country's recent military buildup could lead to more tensions in the war-scarred region. President Alexander Vučić attended a training exercise at a military base near Belgrade that included recently purchased anti-tank Kornet-guided missiles. "I am pleased that our soldiers are happy about the purchase of Kornet from Russia," Vučić said. It is one of probably the best anti-tank weapons in the world. The Kornet is an important defensive tool to deter anyone from potential aggression against a country, Vučić said. Serbia has frequently been accused of saber-rattling and working with Slavic ally Russia to destabilize neighboring Bosnia, Montenegro, and Kosovo, a former Serbian province which declared independence in 2008. Serbia is widely blamed for triggering a bloody breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s with its nationalist policies. The country lately has armed itself mostly with Russian and Chinese warplanes, drones, and anti-aircraft systems. In recent months, Russia has handed over to Serbia 30 battle tanks and 30 armored personnel carriers. Serbia has also recently purchased sophisticated Russian Panzer air defense systems, as well as attack and transport helicopters and Chinese drones. Although formally seeking European Union membership, Serbia has refused to align its foreign policies with the 27 national bloc and has insisted strengthening its alliance with Russia and China. Vučić said on Monday that Serbia remains on the European path, but also added that it will continue to nourish its friendly ties with Russia and China. To join the EU, Serbia needs the support of all the EU member nations, but the government has maintained national frustrated relations with fellow Balkan country Croatia, the last new member admitted into the bloc. Croatia, which is also a member of NATO, is in the mini-arms with Serbia, which has recently received 6 used MiG-29 fighter jets from Russia and 4 more of the type from Belarus. In November, the Croatian government announced the purchase of 12 Rafale fighter jets from France. On entertainment news this morning, Tenny police probe gunshot scare at Rivers event. Gunshot scare forced popular Nigerian artist Tenny Akpata, also known as Tenny, to flee an event in Buguma town, Asaritoru local government area of Rivers State over the weekend. The acting spokesman for the State Police Command, Grace Irinje Koko, confirmed the incident but said Tenny was rescued by security operatives on earth. She was invited for a carnival where she was performing. Some miscreants started throwing stones and all that, but the police and other security agencies were on ground to ensure nothing happened. The command has started investigation into the incident to ascertain what really happened. The police division there in Bunguman has been mandated to fish out those behind the attack. The video will come up next. Police division there in Bunguma, we will ensure that they are brought to book, she stated earlier. Reported that the A-list female artist known for her hit song Your Case was performing another hit, Superpower, when gunshots rent the air. The ear-splitting gunshot sent everyone scampering for safety, as seen in a viral video. And thank you, that will be that on our breakfast news. We'll be right back. Just stay with us shortly. Welcome back. We're still on our breakfast news live from AYOGEN online television. Highlights of our major headlines this morning. On our local news this morning, Gombe APC suspends ex-representative member Omaru Barambu. On our local news also this morning, private public schools to resume January 4, Lagos insists. On our political news this morning regarding the Electoral Act, Nigeria unprepared for direct primary in 2023, IPAC backs Buhari. Regarding the upcoming 2023 election, why Nigerians should support Osinbajo to succeed Buhari as president, says Kawu. On our business news this morning, Nigeria's inflation rate may be among world's highest in 2022, says World Bank. On our sport news this morning, Lukaku linked on shock move to Chelsea rival. On our news this morning, Nigeria records 6 additional COVID-19 related deaths, 573 new cases. On our foreign news this morning, Serbia praises another arms shipment from Russia. On our entertainment news this morning, 10 police probe gunshot scare at Rivers event. And that'll be that on our breakfast news. Do thank you for watching. I want you to continue to subscribe on our YouTube channel, on AYOGEN online television, and follow us and like our page respectively on Facebook and Instagram. I remain your host, Makonjola Oluwatusi. You have a very wonderful year and a very lovely day.